My name is Atris, and today we're playing Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today we're playing against a Zerg player named Fear.com TV on Orbital Shipyard, I believe. And I'm just going to go DTs into Stalker Immortal Disruptor in this game. So first things first, I drop a 14 pylon. And then I'm just going to wait up for enough minerals so that I can, then go into my Nexus. So I'm just queuing up till 17 probes, and sorry about that. I'm actually dropping the gateway first. Because of Zerg and because of the shortness of the map, I tend to drop a gateway first after I queued up 17, and then go down and drop the Nexus, and then I'll go scouting and all that. Like I said in the last video, I'm trying to use my location hotkeys, but I think my F6 key isn't working, so I have to use 5, 7, and 8 instead, and I don't particularly like to use F8, so I kind of don't use them very much. So I got my Nexus down, and I'm just having this wee probe run around so that I can drop my cyber core to sort of make that wall. Anytime I play Zerg, I expect early ling aggression, so that's what the wall's for. But at a minute 40, dropping the cyber core, it's pretty alright, dropping both assimilators, and now I'm going to start queuing up my probes again. But it's a pretty standard game, I guess. No crazy things going on. I'm going to drop obviously a defensive pylon just for photon overcharge. I'm gonna, as soon as my assimilators go up, I want them fully saturated, and then going into fully saturating my natural. I've got a zealot blocking that path so that if any Zerglings do show up, I can, he's on the hold position. That way, he can hold it long enough for my mothership core to come out and sort of deal with everything with the photon overcharge. Dropping 2 more gateways. I've got Warp Gate coming out, and I've got my mothership core coming out here in just a wee minute. And Natural's up, so we're going to be starting, making probes, sending them over there, and we're going to try and get an economic lead on my my Zerg opponent, which is difficult, but it's definitely something that we need to do. I've got an Adept coming out just for a wee bit of scouting, pressure, and all that, because it's 3 minutes. And I haven't seen not one Zergling, so I'm not worried, but I'm just a little confused because I didn't go scout, and you really should at any level of play you should be scouting. My Twilight Council's going down just now, down at my my main base, and I've got my three gateways down now. I've got another Adept coming out for, again, more scouting than anything. And because like I said, I'm planning on going DTs. Got my mothership core over there just in case of any aggression. She can photon overcharge and sort of give some support to that zealot. Twilight Council finishes up. As soon as it does, I'm going to be dropping a Dark Shrine again right behind my my main. Not the best place. Sometimes if you're going DTs, you might want to go way off the beaten path. Drop a proxy pylon and do your Dark Shrine there. Dropping both assimilators at my natural. I definitely want to have plenty of Vespene gas. But I shot my Adept in there just to sort of see what's going on. I've noticed that he didn't have any detection, which is good for me because I'm about to send some Dark Templar in there. But I got supply blocked, so I'm dropping another gateway and I think 4 pylons. I'm also seeing that so far I've only seen two Zerglings. I see the spawning pool, but I'm not able to get quite up into his main base. Starting blank because just so I have something else to transition to if my Dark Templar don't do what I think they should be able to do. Now I've almost got my mineral line fully saturated. I'm going to be pulling off, getting my Vespene gas fully saturated, and I'm going to be making 3 defensive pylons also, so that I don't get supply block later on. Now my gateway is just about done, and my Dark Shrine is done, so I'll be warping in 3 Dark Templar here, and one more once my gateway is done and then turned into a ward gate. Still continuing to drop pylons, and I'm going to be moving out just now with my 4 Dark Templar, and then after that I'll be dropping a robotics facility, and then transitioning more into Blink Stalker Immortal Disruptor, because I'm assuming that he's got Ravagers. I haven't seen any yet, but I'm just assuming that he does. But so let's go ahead and jump in here into his base. I see Ravagers up there on the ramp. I was gonna run into the natural, but then I decided no, so I'm just gonna go up the ramp. But he's actually got it blocked with all roaches. So you know what I say? We'll just take out his third base. So right into the mineral line, and I send one guy to go attack the queen, and have the other 2 take out the mineral line. And if you watch the queen, you watch it real closely, one shot, and then I run it away too quickly. I actually watched this replay again. She's only got 3 health, and so I did kill a fair few drones, but not enough to make it worth anything. I lost 3 Dark Templar for not enough. But I've got my robotics facility down. I'm dropping 4 more gateways, warped in 4 stalkers, and getting in an immortal, and then I believe 2 observers, then another immortal. Because with those roaches, you definitely want some big boys up in the front. I've got my robotics bay coming down here in just a wee minute, just so I can get the disruptors out and try and take care of it that way. Also, I've got 2 okay, I guess I was the only one that heard that. We'll find out when I watch this later on. I'm also dropping 2 forges down so I can start getting the upgrades. It's 7 minutes. I should have had them down earlier, but every chance I get, I'm going to keep warping in stalkers. So I'm going to be going definitely with a stalker immortal disruptor sort of configuration. So still just sort of waiting on him to come, to come to me. I'm a little confused as to why he doesn't, but whatever works. So I've got I've got a good amount of stalkers here. I've got 2 observers coming out. I've got my upgrades, armor. I thought I had clicked G for the attack upgrade, but I guess I didn't. But it's not really that important, at least not in this game. I would have preferred to have attack, but I'm going to be dropping down my 3rd Nexus. I'm sorry, by about minute 8. Got 2 defensive pylons going down. And also because I'm kind of getting close to getting supply blocked, so I'm going to start moving out simply because I haven't seen him yet. But as soon as I move out, I see his stuff, and it's just a bunch of roaches. So I really need to get my my immortal out front instead of my stalkers. But he's running away, so I'm just going to try and keep running, keep chasing, and even if I can just pick one off at a time. That's definitely what I want. Blink on top, and unfortunately I saw too late that he was having reinforcements coming in just now. But I'm just gonna warp in another 8 stalkers, and take out the army that he had, which is really good for me. And he's still reinforcing with a fair few roaches, but that's no problem for me because I've got 8 more right behind me. Also, I've got another immortal. And I'm going to start making disruptors. Yeah, I did queue up 2 immortals, but I decided to go with disruptors simply because he's going to have a big ball of roaches and zerglings at home. So I didn't want to. I would rather have disruptors than immortals, especially when facing a lot of things. So I'd run in with my shade and notice that he's going ravagers now. So I definitely want immortals instead of I definitely want disruptors instead of immortals. Excuse me. I failed to drop my Nexus because I noticed that after watching this replay that he had 2 wee Zerglings, and that's what blocked me. So they never made it, but they did make the pylons. So I'm just trying to push him back up into his base, and you know, try and keep his army on the defensive, so that I can keep pushing, keep moving up the ramp. I'm gonna put my observer right at the top of the ramp so that I can see when he moves in and out, and you know, possibly get a decent disruptor shot off without him looking. Now his focus is going to be mainly on his army at this point, simply because he is so on such a defensive level right now. His army is not out, and mine is. So that's another thing to think about when you're attacking. Is, you know, try and get those. You've got to have sight for sure, and you know, a well-placed disruptor shot, like I said in the last game, it can change the whole game. But you definitely want your immortals up front instead of your stalkers taking the brunt of the damage. But I keep noticing 2 wee blue dots on my mini map, so I'm just gonna send 2 stalkers over there, and it turns out, you know, that they're obviously overlords for scouting purposes. I do get my level 1 upgrade for attack, and then I guess I don't get my level 2 upgrade for defense, but it doesn't really matter. So I've got 2 disruptors, which is more than enough for anything that he's got, and I'm going to start moving ahead. I've got my sight up on his 3rd base's ramp, so I'm just going to move in. I'm going to send my immortals up to that ramp, and I'm going to block. I'm going to block any sort of reinforcements. I'm going to shoot a disruptor shot, try and keep him pushed back, and then blink in and engage his Hydralisk Roach attackers. Gonna move my immortals in and start taking them out, and he GG's out. So all in all, a pretty good game. DTs did, you know, a fair amount of damage, not near enough what I liked or what I would have liked, but the immortals took a lot of damage. They stayed alive pretty well. Disruptors made a couple of well-timed shots. They didn't do an incredible amount of damage, but they definitely, you know, helped to keep him off balance. And my stalkers just, you know, ripped through his army. So I'll have the build order down below. If you like it, click like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.